Have you ever wondered why there are so many celebrated compositions in C minor? It's almost as though the key itself invites an ultra-serious approach to composition that yields musical monuments. A number of masterpieces in that key come immediately to my mind. Mozart's 24th Piano Concerto, Beethoven's Third Concerto and Fifth Symphony, Brahms's First, Mahler's Second, and so on. The same kind of thing seems to be true also of the key of E-flat major, with a list of representative examples that would rival that for C minor, including Haydn's Drumroll Symphony, Mozart's 39th, and Sinfonia Concertante for violin and viola, as well as his 22nd Piano Concerto and Magic Flute, Beethoven's Eroica Symphony above all, and his Emperor Concerto, Schumann's Rhenish Symphony, Mahler's Symphony of 1000, Elgar's Second, and of course the breathtaking Sibelius Fifth. And there's the shared territory between those keys, including the sorrowful C minor slow movement of the Mozart Sinfonia Concertante, and most spectacularly that of the Eroica Symphony. And there's the fact that the Mahler Second is a C minor symphony that ends in E-flat major. These are, of course, closely related keys, and it's no secret that some of the more mystically minded musical creators of Europe found symbolic significance in the three-flat signature of both keys. But would that have driven Beethoven's choice, or Schumann's, or Mahler's? It simply seems to be the case that something about those keys, call it the peculiar flavor of their shared diatonic collection, if you like, does inspire a grandiose approach to the writing of music. And it seems to me that we find that in today's offering. I wonder if anyone's ever done a study on this. I have no idea how such a study could be organized, how a guiding hypothesis could even be constructed, but it certainly would be interesting. The E-flat major and minor pairs of this chromatic stage of Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier Part 1 are so extravagant that I'll treat them separately, as I did for those in C-sharp major and minor. Here we're face to face with a special kind of genius. As in previous videos in this series, you'll be treated to the masterful playing of Tatiana Nikolayeva. The E-flat major prelude is already a prodigy of music, fantastically unlike the preludes we've heard so far in this collection. In fact, this prelude could almost have satisfied Bach's avowed aim of writing paired preludes and fugues in all 12 major and minor keys. That's because the bulk of the prelude is itself a sprawling double fugue. Here's how it works. The movement's first paragraph is arguably the prelude, establishing one of the movement's two important motives, this one being a conversational exchange of semiquavers between the two hands, while the second paragraph sets forth a fugato in high Renaissance style, close imitation of a short subject based on rising fourths. With that fugato's conclusion on a half cadence at measure 25, the double fugue kicks in and occupies the rest of a movement that's about 4.5 minutes long. The fugue's two subjects are crafted of the motives set forth in the introductory prelude and the fugato. The E-flat major prelude is a deeply meditative work, and the complementary fugue that follows is indeed a complement, showcasing a completely different aspect of this composer's rich and diverse musical personality. The fugue is a short, boisterous one, a celebration of some sort, as though commemorating the prelude's great aesthetic achievement. The E-flat minor movements are much more balanced than those we just heard in the parallel major. The prelude of the minor mode offering is in large part a sad aria constructed of two distinct melodic motives sung in short phraselets against a strummed half-note accompaniment for a serenade-like effect. This gentle homophonic plaint gives way to a more urgent-sounding middle section that ultimately yields the floor, as it must. The prelude thus ends quietly after bearing its soul, its closing Picardy cadence setting the stage for one of Bach's most rigorously worked-out fugues. Bach actually wrote this fugue in D-sharp minor, but here it's been transposed in harmonically for consistency. It's literally 6 of one versus half a dozen of the other as far as sharps or flats are concerned, so I suppose you could take your pick. The fugue's subject bears a fairly strong resemblance to that of Bach's Art of Fugue, the uncompleted masterpiece that the composer intended as his summa as far as his polyphonic instrumental writing is concerned, much as his B minor Mass sums up his achievement in compositions for human voices and orchestra. His aim in the present fugue was also obviously high, as witness the thorough treatment of its subject, which will be treated not only to inversion, but to 3 different sets of rhythmic values. In terms of this last, the tour de force is found at the beginning of the coda, where the subject in its original form joins forces with itself in 2 different rhythmic augmentations. This seems for all the world like the prolation canons of such towering contrapuntal masters of the early Renaissance as Guillaume Dufay and Johannes Ockeghem. There's enough polyphonic wonder in this fugue to make a mathematician weep for joy.